listening to Give God 90, where we're not afraid of the tough biblical questions, because we will dig through the language, the culture, and the history to find the truth revealed in the words of our Creator.
I wanna see the light.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for letting us share part of your day. My name is Sherry Mitchell. Sitting beside me tonight, not leaving me unsupervised, is Myra.
Hi, everyone.
So I have to be on my best behavior. That doesn't always happen when you're not around.
I know.
When I was looking at what I wanted to talk about today, I looked around and some of the questions I've answered over the last few weeks, and I see a trend, and that is people being a little anxious. So what's it take to stay calm? What does the Bible tell us about just relax, calm down? Well, maybe not in the way we're thinking, but you'll see what I mean in a minute. But before I get to that, the other day we were talking about Pope Francis, and he has put his foot in his mouth again. And it's becoming very evident that there is a growing discontentment among the average Catholic, I guess is the best way to put that. Not everybody is appreciative of the direction that Pope Francis is leading the Catholic Church. When he was speaking to the Council of Bishops in Europe in mid-September, Francis said this, excuse me, "To make the church beautiful and welcoming, we need together to look to the future, not to restore the past, which unfortunately is a fad. Restoring the past will kill us. It will kill everyone." End quote. What he is so opposed to is the movement for many of the Catholic people to go back to their traditional, I don't want to say doctrine. They want to go back before that. What they want to do is to restore the Catholic Church to the way it was 40, 50, 60 years ago or more. Okay? Now, because they have a desire to restore the foundation of their faith, what the Pope and some of his folks are concentrating on is specifically the Latin Mass. Oh, you just want to go back so nobody understands what we're talking about. That's not the only, that may be part of it, but that's not the only aspect of this movement within the grassroots community of the Catholic Church. They want to go back and they want to restore their faith in God. And that sort of removes some papal authority. And I don't think the upper echelon of the current group that is there in the Catholic Church really likes that. What they want to do is they want to restore their faith in their Creator. And that's kind of a radical idea in the Catholic Church. But, leave it to Pope Francis to put his foot in his mouth. A lot of world leaders are doing that today. Some of them not as confused and addle-brained as others. But still, they are not exactly being upfront with people. That's a good way to put it. So, the good news is that the average person, doesn't like the progressive movement of their religious system. So they want to go back. They want to start over. They want to go find the foundation and say, this is what makes us who we are. And for them, it is restoring their faith in the Almighty. Again, it's a radical idea. I want to thank everyone for joining us. If you'd like to join the chat, it is open. I'm looking at it. Nobody's chimed in yet, but that's okay. Tonight's topic: how do believers remain calm and have no fear as we watch what looks a lot like prophecy being fulfilled right in front of our eyes? And sometimes it seems kind of scary. What is it that drives the anxiety when we have people like the Pope who say, oh, you can't restore the past, it'll kill you? That doesn't sound very encouraging, does it? You can't go back and put your faith in God. That's just going to kill you. That's what he's saying. And that's exactly what prophecy is. When the Bible says that even the believers will be falling away. It's amazing to me that we see these things happen. We hear about how worried and how anxious people are when over 350 times in the English translation alone, doesn't matter which one it is, some do it more often, some don't do it as often, but over 350 times you're going to read a phrase like, fear not, do not be afraid. Over 350 times. And yet people are anxious when something happens. Well, I'm going to start with a place tonight that not everybody would expect me to begin with, but that's okay. If you're new to this, I don't usually start in a place like I'm going to start. I don't typically like to start with Paul's letters, but this one makes a lot more sense. A lot of people know kind of the verse that's in here that we're going to talk about a little bit, but they don't know it in context. They like to use it by itself, but they don't know it in its full and complete context. And when you put the verse that we're going to look at in its context, it changes everything dramatically. And it really radically changes it when you know that it's been mistranslated just a little bit in most English translations. Okay? So you're going to read Philippians 4, 10 through 12 to get us started.
I am very happy in the Lord that you have shown your care for me again. You continued to care about me, but there was no way for you to show it. I am telling you this, but it is not because I need anything. I have learned to be satisfied with the things that I have and with everything that happens. I know how to live when I am poor. I know how to live when I have plenty. I have learned the secret of being happy at any time in everything that happens. I have learned to be happy when I have enough to eat and when I do not have enough to eat. I have learned to be happy when I have all that I need and when I do not have all the things I need.
Now, Paul's basically saying, kind of the same thing you've heard me say before if you've listened to this very long. Paul says, I got really good at being poor, right? And we did. We were really good at being poor. I'd really like to know what it's like, let me rephrase it. I'd like to be able to know that I could be good at being rich. Just saying. Just saying. Paul's making a point here. He knows a secret. He's found a secret. So what's the secret? And more importantly, how does Paul tell us to be content no matter what situation we find ourselves in? Because what this translation, the International Children's Bible, what it says, I'm happy, typically is contentment, more satisfaction. Not satisfied like you're full after a meal. Okay, it's different than that. But it's just that feeling, that knowledge that it's going to be okay. If we're poor, if we're rich, if we have enough to eat, if we're hungry, no matter what circumstance we find ourselves in, we have the ability to be content. Now, what does the Christian translations tell us the secret is in verse 13?
I can do all things through Christ because he has given me strength.
We're going to come back to that, but Paul doesn't stop there. He continues in verses 14 through 18.
But it was good that you helped me when I needed help. You people in Philippi, remember when I first preached the good news there. When I left Macedonia, you were the only church that gave me help. Several times you sent me things I needed when I was in Thessalonica. Really, it's not what I want to receive gifts from you, but I want you to have the good that comes from giving. And now I have everything and more. I have all I need because Epaphroditus brought your gift to me. Your gift is like a sweet-smelling sacrifice offered to God. God accepts that sacrifice and it pleases him.
So it's not that Paul really wanted anything, but what he was looking forward to was that these folks found joy in giving without expecting anything in return. Their blessing is what they were giving to him. But let's go back for a second to verse 13. Remember, this translation is not quite correct. Paul does not specify that I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. That's not what's in the original Greek manuscripts. Paul doesn't refer to Jesus. He doesn't refer to Yeshua in this verse at all, according to the manuscripts we currently have. Paul knows who his Creator is. Paul knows who Yeshua is. And what we can do is look back at the prophets, look back through some of the books of Moses, and find exactly what Paul knew, because Paul says in the original manuscripts, I can do all things through him who gives me strength. Now, for the average Christian, they are probably thinking the him in that sentence would be Jesus, right? But let's go look at what Paul knew, what Paul had access to. In Isaiah 41:10, it says, do not fear, for I am with you. Don't be afraid. Don't be worried. Don't be anxious. Don't be upset, because I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will surely help you. I will uphold you with my right hand of righteousness. Who's Isaiah talking about? Obviously, the Almighty, right? The Father. Genesis 15:1. Let's go back to Moses. After these events, the word of Jehovah came to Abraham in a vision. Don't be afraid, Abram. I'm your shield, your great reward. How about Deuteronomy, the other end of the books of Moses? When you go out to war against your enemies and you see horses and chariots and an army larger than yours, don't be afraid of them. Jehovah, your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, is with you. Are you starting to see a theme here? I mean, just a little bit. Is it all kind of starting to come together? Let's go back to Isaiah 41:13-14. For Jehovah your God will hold your right hand, saying to you, do not be afraid, I will help you. Fear not, you worm of Jacob. You see what he's doing there, right? He's reminding you, you don't have to be afraid, even in your lowly state. You worm of Jacob, the men of Israel, I will help you, saith Jehovah, and your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. Isaiah 40:29. He gives power to the faint, and to them that have no might. He increases strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait on Jehovah shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings of eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not be faint. Paul knew all this. He had access to this. He had most of it memorized. Psalm 29:11, the Lord will give you strength unto his people. The Lord will bless his people with peace. Now I'm going to ask you this question. Are you ready? Who was Paul referring to give him the strength he desires? Who's the him in Philippians 4:13? It's not Jesus. It's not Yeshua. It's the Father. It's Jehovah himself. Let's not forget about these verses.
Genesis 18:14. Is anything too hard for the Lord? At the time appointed I will return unto thee according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. Jeremiah 32:17. Ah, Lord God, behold, thou hast made the heaven and the earth by thy great power and stretched out arm, and there is nothing too hard for thee. Job 42:2. I know that thou canst do everything, and that no thought can be withholden from thee.
Kind of tricked you up there a little bit, didn't it?
It
did. You know, even Yeshua, even Jesus in Matthew 29:26 says, but Jesus beheld them and said to them, with men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible. With all of the positive reinforcement we have in the Bible, all the assurances that we have, no matter what happens, we even can read in the end that, the creator of the universe will defeat his enemies. What are we concerned about? What are we anxious about? What are we worried about? Really, what are you upset with? You look around and you see things happening. Now, and it's not just in the United States that we have a leader who is less than honorable. Put it that way. I get messages from people who live in other countries, and they are battling dishonorable leaders as well. They're battling evil in their nations. And yet those folks seem to be more excited about what's going on than the people in the United States. We have a lot of scared people around here in the United States. We really do. Because for the first time, probably in the history of the nation, believers honestly feel that the Almighty has turned his back on us. Right? That's what they're feeling. And there's a reason for that. We've talked about that reason, right? Because the divine being who was put in charge of the geographic area of North America is no longer bound to be loyal to the creator of the universe. The majority of the people have rejected God, and so the divine being is no longer bound to be loyal to God. He's lost that binding, and it makes them worried. It makes them anxious. And here's the thing, though. When I'm talking about why be worried, why be anxious, I'm not talking about the little things. I'm not speaking about, oh, I've got to get this right. Things like, did I remember to set the alarm? Did I do the things to make sure that supper's going to be ready tonight? Did I lock the door when I left home? Did I remember to put the key in my pocket? That's not what I'm talking about. The things that are making us anxious today all over the world, the things that sometimes cause people so much trauma in their emotions, it makes it practically impossible for them to function. It's this thought that the Almighty has turned his back. And there's a reason for that. There is a reason for that. Think about it. Think about it. Do you know that our entertainment industry loves to sell drama? That's how they make most of their money. And it doesn't matter what kind of drama it is, right? The so-called reality shows that are about as real as an honest politician, just saying. Most of these reality shows are more scripted than a Broadway play. Let's just face the facts. The reality shows, it's not just that they stick a camera in somebody's hand and says, go film his family. They're scripted. A lot of times, the family doesn't play the family. One or two or three of them do, but the rest of them are all actors. It looks similar to the people that they're portraying. It's nothing. It's make-believe. It's entertainment. And many, many people look at it as if it's serious. They look at these dramatic reality shows, and some people honestly believe that that's the way a family should act. It's the way they ought to be. That's the normal. And it's almost worse. We have a local news station here. And I kid you not, it's no longer news. They're reading propaganda pieces. And it's hilarious when these anchors, the people who are the presenters or the people who are actually reading these articles that somebody else has written, they're sitting there and they're reading it and they're trying to keep a straight face because they don't believe what they're reading either. It's not news. It's opinion. It's propaganda. Now, here's a radical idea, and I'm really good at doing this. Okay? I'm going to give you some advice that's going to help you. 3 simple words. Ignore the drama. I'm good at it. I can, things can be going on in the next room, and I just don't care. You've seen me do it. I have 4 granddaughters, right? Some of them are drama queens. I'm good at ignoring drama. I just really am. Ignore the drama. Refuse to participate. Refuse to participate. If you don't participate in the drama and you ignore it, it can't affect you. It's that simple. Is the leader of your country a buffoon? Don't vote for him if you have the opportunity to vote for him. Is the dictator of your country a monster? You can be involved, right? You can be involved. pray for them. You speak the words that your Creator puts in your mouth. If you do that, you don't have to worry, no matter what happens to you. And I need to remind you here, for those folks that live in these nations that hear this, you know that Yeshua, Jesus, spoke only what the Father gave him to say, and it got him crucified. Was he worried? No. He was faithful. If you say exactly what your Creator tells you to say when he tells you to say it, you don't have anything to worry about. You know, somebody the other day asked me if I was worried about the Pope sending the assassination team. I said, well, if I expect the Swiss Guard to come after me, so if anything does happen to me and it's a little sketchy, that's who you need to look at first. Okay? Just saying. It's on record now. But I'm not worried about it. Why would I be worried about it? It's silly to be worried about those things. You speak what your Creator gives you to speak. Don't be anxious. Take Paul's advice. Be content because your Creator provides the strength you need when you need it, no matter what. All the drama in the world is not going to change our Creator. Some of you have been listening to this for a long time. You know Malachi 3:6. You should know it by heart by now because it's my favorite verse and I say it often. Malachi 3:6, I am Jehovah, I do not change, so that you, the sons of Jacob, are not destroyed. What's there to worry about? What's there to be anxious for? Absolutely nothing. Because the one who created you will give you the strength you need when you need it. Did he get people out of jail? Yep, he did. Did he give people something to say? Well, let's put it this way. Did he give someone something to say that got him killed? Yes, he did. And what happened to him? Well, 3 days later, he came back, right? The Almighty doesn't look at us the way we look at us. He doesn't see us as young or old. He sees us only as faithful and unfaithful. The one thing that we can well, I shouldn't say one thing, because we just read a whole lot of things, right? We just read a whole lot of things. There's nothing too hard for God. Don't be afraid. Man, if I look back through this list, wow. Don't be afraid, Abram, I'm your shield. For Jehovah your God will be your right hand, saying, don't be afraid, fear not. I'm with you. Now, if that doesn't give you enough of a reason to simply stay calm, take a breath, and ignore the drama, I don't know what does. Just relax, stay calm. You know, I like the saying, keep calm and carry on, from Winston Churchill. And they've taken that today in the United States and they put it on a lot of things. You know, keep calm and eat chocolate, keep calm and do this, keep calm. Really, just stay calm and breathe. Do what you need to do. Do the things. Live the way you're designed to live. Do what your Creator's asking you to do. And that's all you need to do. Now, don't take that like some people do and they just sit down and do nothing, right? That doesn't work. That just doesn't work. You can't just stop living. Just stay calm and breathe. Ignore the drama. Do what needs to be done. You know, you still got to cook supper, right? You know, you still, you know, if you're a doctor, you still have patients to see. If you're a trash collector, that's always going to be there. If you work in dry cleaning, that's always going to be there. Laundry never ends. But you simply ignore the drama. Don't participate in it. If you think things are bad now, what are you going to do when they really get bad? I used to work for a fella who said, when you see me panic, that's when you know you need to panic, right? So I'll pass that along to you too. When you see me panic, that's when you can panic. Till then, just stay calm and breathe. I'll let you know something that most people don't know that was supposed to happen today is we had a big solar flare that was supposed to affect the Earth. Did it change anybody's lives? I don't think so. I don't see the northern lights streaming down here. I don't see, and it's dark where we are now. You know, I don't see, communication was not affected. Electronics, I don't believe were affected, not where we're at. And the United States was supposed to be facing the sun when it got here. So if there's a reason that I don't put this stuff out early. Because it typically doesn't affect us. We're looking at all the volcanic activity in the Atlantic and in the Pacific right now. Think about this. There were scare tactics that said, if that La Palma volcano causes that island to fall all at one time, it's going to wipe out most of the east coast of the United States. Well, the people who thought about that don't realize how many forces there are. I'm not sure that you can take a rock that big and cause a ripple big enough to do what they're saying. To cause a tidal wave to go 40 miles inland. That's just not going to happen. For one thing, the western coast of Africa is a lot closer than we are. That wave just doesn't go all one direction. It spreads out. There's resistance in the water. There's gravity. All of these things you have to take into account. There's so many things. There's so many scare tactics out there to make you worry, and it's all drama. Is the world gonna end? Yeah, eventually. Because the Almighty himself will speak and destroy this world. And there's no amount of tax you can pay to any government. There's no amount of getting rid of the carbon footprint that you can do to stop it. Don't participate in the drama. Just ignore it. Stay calm and breathe. And when these people want to bring the drama, smile, nod, politely say, "Isn't that nice?" And then ask them, "Why are you so worried?" Paul says, whenever we're poor, whenever we're rich, it's okay. If you've got enough to eat, that's great. If you don't, that's fine too. Here's the bottom line. when we think about the end game. When we think far enough out, we're going to, a lot of people talk about the New World Order, and I'm not going down there. But what happens after that? Have you ever thought about after that? Well, I've coined a new term, because I haven't heard anybody say this before. If somebody knows of anybody who said this before, let me know. I'm looking forward to a new orderly world. The one with the New Jerusalem sitting on it. Because once we get there, it's all good. You just got to get there. And the only way to get there is to stay faithful here. And if you're faithful here, you are content. You have the ability to stay calm and breathe. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Absolutely. Until Monday. Oh. Myra won't be here Monday. I will be by myself. But I will be remotely supervised, possibly.
Yes.
Okay. Just so everybody knows, I'll have to be on my best behavior. Until then, many, many blessings, everyone.